The NFL trade deadline is just around the corner, and Vikings fans, if they make a move, you know we will break it down for you guys. So if you want that, if you want free videos on the Minnesota Vikings, don't miss out. Take advantage of the opportunity in front of you guys right now and subscribe today for free. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button. You're watching Minnesota Vikings Now. I am Tom Downey, here to break down the latest around Minnesota, some trade buzz, and some Kirk Cousins conversation, which I know not all of you want to have, but I think it's valuable to have at this point. So first up, a trade rumor or speculation or idea out there involving Kyle Fuller, the current, for now, Broncos cornerback, who I know Vikings fans know oh so well from his time in Chicago. Fan-sided pitched the idea of Minnesota adding Fuller. And I actually like this one. I don't always love some of the fan-sided trade ideas, but think about this, folks. The Broncos actually have good depth at the cornerback position. Now, Fuller has actually been benched in part because of that depth. Ronald Darby, Patrick Surtain, those two have been playing ahead of Fuller, and Michael Ojemudia, the former third, I think, round pick out of Missouri, will be back at some point in the near future as well. He's in the last year of his contract, over $7 million total, but a new team would owe half of that-ish. And the Vikings are thin with the Patrick Peterson injury, and we'll get to Bashaud Breeland here in a little bit. So Fuller, I think, actually is available right now on the trade block. I think he is a player who could be added if you're Minnesota, if you want to go out and get some cornerback help. And we know very well how valuable and how much this organization loves corners. And I do think Fuller would be a good enough fit in the Vikings defense, even though I do think it is very fair to acknowledge this point. He has not been the same player in Denver that we are accustomed to seeing him at his peak in Chicago. So we'll spend some more time on this trade idea, but I want to get your comments in first in the comment section, of course. Should the Vikings go out and trade for Kyle Fuller? A yes or no question that's actually trade or pass. So you can type in T for trade or P for pass. This is the pinned comment on today's video. So get the ad break here on YouTube. Head on down to the comments, check the pinned comment, and let me know. Now, if I'm the Vikings, I would at minimum call. There's no reason not to if you're Minnesota, who I do believe is a playoff contender this season. Maybe it's too expensive, but not at least trying isn't something I think is a great idea for the Vikings, and that's because of what they have right now in their cornerback room. I remain a believer in Cam Dantzler. Maybe it's Mike Zimmer. Somebody's not sold because they were playing Bashaud Breeland over him. And I know that he's been better in recent games. I've seen enough out of Bashaud Breeland. I am at the point where he has almost allowed as many yards in a much smaller sample size, we'll call it about half the snaps, this year that he did last year in Kansas City. Those types of things are not what you're searching for if you're a playoff contender. If Breeland's your outside corner 3 or 4, I feel a lot better about that than him being your CB2 or CB3. Now, Fuller's not been great either, but maybe going to Minnesota would get him back on track and being the guy that I know Vikings fans saw too often in Chicago. And don't forget about this part. The next 4 games of quarterbacks for Minnesota, ooh boy, it's tough. Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson, who's been a much better thrower of the ball this year. The young, talented quarterback Justin Herbert and Aaron Rodgers. That is not an easy slate of games if you're Minnesota. Wouldn't you love some extra cornerback help with Patrick Peterson out? I think it's at least worth exploring if you are the Vikings. Now again, if Minnesota does something, we'll let you guys know. We're almost up to daily videos here on our Minnesota Vikings channel. And it is a meritocracy here at Chat Sports. The more subscribers there are, the more videos you guys get. So if you haven't already, just go down to the comments, or above the comments, and hit that little big red button and subscribe right now. I wanted to spend some time now on the play of Kirk Cousins. I mean, we've mentioned it before on our previews and stuff, but I wanted to devote even more time to it after I saw the CBS Sports quarterback power rankings, where Cousins came in at 11th. And maybe some of you think that's too high, maybe some of you think that's too low, but I do want to say this. I believe that Kirk Cousins has played well this season. Now, his contract is expensive. He's a free agent in the near future, and we'll spend some more time on that one. But I think Cousins' play this year, and my biggest issue with this CBS Sports article was I feel like there were a lot of, based on what they did in previous years, kind of baked into it, because Mahomes put on the list. Mahomes has not been that great this year. So before we spend more time in breaking down the top 10, do you think that Kirk Cousins is a top 10 quarterback in the National Football League? 1 for yes, 0 for no. I want you guys to sound off for me in the comments section. Now, these are the CBS Sports top 10. Brady was 1, Rodgers 2, Dak 3, Mahomes 4, Lamar 5, Kyler Murray 6, Josh Allen 7, and then this is where I think it starts to get a little bit muddled. Matthew Stafford, Justin Herbert, and definitely Joe Burrow in there at number 10. I'll also make note that Cousins was number 11, and not on the list, oh, by the way, in the top 11, was Derek Carr, who I actually do think should probably be in that consideration. I am of this mindset when it comes to Kirk Cousins. Somehow simultaneously overrated and underrated. I think by more people, probably a bit underrated. Is he a Allen, Mahomes, Lamar, whatever, top-end quarterback? I don't think he's in the top 5 conversation. I think he's firmly locked in that top 15. And I don't think he's quite in the top 10 because there's a lot of good quarterback play right now in the NFL. But you damn sure can make an argument for Kirk Cousins. And think about it this way, too, as you see his stats on screen with how good he's been this year. 13-2 touchdown interception ratio. A very nice 69.5 completion percentage. How would we be treating Kirk Cousins differently if it wasn't for a Greg Joseph missed easy field goal and or a Dalvin Cook fumble? This team could have 5 wins. And I think we might be putting national media, when I say we, I think we might be putting Kirk Cousins legitimately in that MVP conversation. Of course, it's not just about this year for Kirk. There's the long-term thing coming up as well. So should the Vikings extend Kirk Cousins past next season? Very curious how you guys vote on this one. It's E for extend or N for nah.